Gordon Chang is with us. He's a Daily Beast contributor. The core of this, the crux of this, is that it's absolutely mind-blowing that we have allowed others, North Korea in this case, to dictate what Americans can read or watch. I don't know that I've ever seen such a blatant example of another entity dictating to us what we're going to be permitted to see in a movie theater.
No, you're absolutely right about that. But you got to remember that the North Koreans were pushing on an open door. For a couple decades, the United States, and this is not just this administration, this is the one before it as well, did virtually nothing to prevent foreign governments from stealing intellectual property from American companies, somewhere to the tune of $20 to $475 billion every year. And so clearly the North Koreans saw, well, why can't I do this? Because the Chinese and the Russians are doing this, and they're getting away with it, and there are no consequences that are imposed on the Chinese or Russians. So you got to understand their mindset. They were pushing on an open door, and it's, yes, they're villains, but it's our fault for leaving the door open.
And it's also our fault if we don't respond, forcefully. I mean, and by forcefully, in your case, you suggest sanctions. You suggest strong condemnations from the White House. I mean, up to now, little or nothing has come from Washington on this.
Yes, and we're going to see very soon, and maybe even today, what the Obama administration is going to do. Certain news agencies are reporting that there will be consequences. We got to see if they're tough enough. I suspect that they won't, because as you point out, we're talking about issues that go to the core of our democracy, about letting dictators, people in Moscow, Beijing, Tehran, Pyongyang, determine what the American people watch, what they read. And you got to remember, this is not just a movie. If the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, for instance, runs an editorial that the North Koreans don't like, they're not going to deny visas. They're just going to shut those papers down. And the Chinese are going to do the same thing.